I want to share two things. One, that we've been hearing from leaders, congregations all over the land who say we have 30 men, fathers, sons, cousins, nephews who have been called up, who are in the army, or who were already serving. One congregation, 60. Ours, between maybe close to 25. I think, from my calculations, that there are at least 1,000 messianic believers in the IDF right now. And this is the first time, we've had a lot of wars in this country. Mm-hmm. This is the first time in history that we have so many believers in key places.
The guys here, one of the things that they're doing every night, the soldiers here are going into what they call Nablus today, biblical Shechem. They're going into Nablus to uncover weapons, caches of stockpiles of weapons that are there and somehow brought into the country. I don't know how, but they're finding them and they're working and they're doing it. It's very difficult work going into these camps within Nablus. They're coming back here, and one of the guys crying to me yesterday, he's weeping. He said, "I can't thank you enough for giving us a place here where we wake up in the morning and hear children playing." And I have 11 children, and actually 30 of my 45 grandchildren are here with me. I am a very unusual person in that sense, but in order to hear a soldier and the soldiers actually saying that to us, that we're giving them a place where there's in the midst of the crisis, in the midst of the battle and the war, there's a place on this mountain that they can get peace, and it's a really big blessing.
We've all been hearing a lot about the war in Israel, but we want to share with you two significant things you probably haven't heard in the news that are going to change the course of history.
Many people are so focused on the things of this life that only when they're walking through the valley of the shadow of death do they start really thinking about why they're here and where they're going. We're seeing this happen right before our eyes. Since the war broke out on October 7th, we've been seeing an openness to the gospel among Israelis, even in places where intense strongholds existed.
By God's grace, a recent video about how to find eternal hope in the midst of this crisis has now reached over 3 million views in Hebrew alone. Israelis from many different backgrounds have contacted us, ordered New Testaments, and several have come to faith in Jesus, Yeshua.
A pre-army training school also contacted us, and what happened there was nothing short of astonishing. In the past, we shared with a similar group, but they constantly interrupted us, and some even aggressively objected to the gospel.
But this time, these Jewish and Arab soldiers in training were soaking in every word and even taking notes. We could really sense God's Spirit filling the room, and we were surprised to see how thirsty they were for the truth. They asked genuine questions to understand the gospel in more depth, including wanting to understand exactly how to receive forgiveness through Yeshua's work at the cross. As if that weren't enough, since we also shared testimonies of healing, the manager of the program announced that even though the time for our talk was up, everyone could still come up to receive prayer.
And Yeshua miraculously healed every single person who came. They even called others from outside to come in and be healed. They even said they'd recommend us to another pre-army program. Praise God.
Another thing.
So we have the approval by the IDF, and we have our different things. And so we're also approved by the Ministry of Welfare, by the Ministry of Absorption, by the Ministry of Aliyah.
Wow.
And so the Army will send commanders here, and they say, here, where will they stay? Here? Okay. And they get to come and stay in this is called the Upper Room, home for lone soldiers.
Are they allowed you to speak about Yeshua or no?
So everyone can have a Bible. We have a bunch of different Bibles. And we say, we're not going to hide who we are. We are believers in Yeshua. This place is paid for by believers in Yeshua. And we say, that's who we are. We're not going to change who we are. And they say, okay. But we're not pushy. If they're home, we just say, guys, do you want to join? If you come to the Passover, we're going to talk about Yeshua in the Passover. This is what we believe. We're not going to change who we are, and all of our staff, all of our team here are believers, and even visitors are believers, but we're very careful not to jump on them. But We are a actual light because they know this is a believer place that welcomes unbelievers and believers.
That's good.
But we've actually never had any believer soldiers, always unbeliever soldiers, which is nice, but
למען כל הגיבורים שנפלו ביחידת יהלום.
וזכר כל הנופלים בלחימה, גדוד 890.
For Purim.
עבודה טובה, ניתוק מגע. מדהים, סמ"ר.